Holy cow.
Look who's back. Look who's back.
What's up, guys? How we doing? It's been a long time. Life and conflicting schedules and life.
And conflicting schedules.
And conflicting schedules.
Yes. But no, most importantly, life.
Yes. It is so good to be back. Man, it's been so long.
This guy here has been working on some stuff in his game, trying to get back to old form. So.
Yeah. So, end of leagues last year, prior to the final 5 weeks, I was on a great run. I was bowling like 5 consecutive weeks of 700. And then it went away. I didn't shoot 600 the last 5 weeks of league. Whatever, slump. And this year, I have not been bowling very well.
The last time I saw his average this low, he was like 19. That was a long time ago.
Honest to God, true story. And I've come out of the ball clean, watch your footwork, keep your eye down. Like, I've tried so many different things. And one night in league, I went, you know what? Move up to here. Slow everything down. And it changed everything. It just put everything into perspective, and shot my first 700 of the year last week. So,
yeah. And it's funny because this came about because, you know, he asked me to kind of watch him a little bit, see what I thought, and the first thing I thought is there's a lot of stuff going on. You know, he's always had, you know, open shoulder and getting that ball back, and I noticed a lot of inconsistencies on sometimes the shoulder would get back, sometimes it wouldn't. It would cause the ball to go out, cause the ball to go in, so the mark missing was quite high. And then the most important thing, the biggest thing I saw out of it was just the release. Sometimes that ball would come out revving pretty good, sometimes there wouldn't be much on it, and that inconsistency of release was affecting. And my first thought was, we teach our kids that if you're thinking about trying to do too many things, you can't do any of them well. So strip them all away, pick one thing and focus on that. And one of the best things to do is just slow things down. Just move up on the approach, slow it all down, keep all your mechanics normal, but slow it down so there's not so many moving parts. And before I could even make that suggestion, he talked about how we shot a video where the approaches were tacky as hell, and we both had to step way up on the approach. We had to take super short steps, and we both bowled pretty well. Yeah. And so his thought was, you know, hey, I was a lot more consistent on my release and hitting my mark when I slowed things down, and he wanted to step up and see what that did, and I thought that's exactly where my mind was.
You know, and not only that, but every once in a while we were coaching the kids, you know, we'd grab a house ball off the rack. We wouldn't change shoes. We'd just be in our street shoes. Don't bowl in street shoes. We'd be in our street shoes and just get up there and just go much slower and, you know, just bowl well, and everything is smooth and fine. So I kind of took that and ran with it. The scary thing was I never had a really good time to come out and practice, and our schedules weren't meshing. So I attempted it in league.
And it worked.
And it worked, you know. So don't be afraid to try new things. My entire life, aside from when I was a child, but my entire life I've been on the back set of dots. Prior to this, I cannot remember the last time I was at the front set of dots. It was a massive change for me, and it felt like I was doing like little Fred Flintstone baby steps. I was afraid of losing rev rate on the ball. I was afraid of losing speed. It's not the case. It's been a crazy change, and I'm glad I did it. It's still weird for me walking up to those set of dots as opposed to just staying right here. But it's when all else fails, you scale back, you slow down, you just bring everything back to a condensed version of what you've been doing and start fresh again.
Yeah, we always talk about how bowling is a sport of muscle memory, and one of the big issues is he's had 40-some years of muscle memory of doing something, so this sort of change is breaking that. But if you want to make a big change, you have to go through the process of breaking that muscle memory and establishing new muscle memory. And so in this particular case, even if he loses a little bit of rev rate, which, you know, I've watched him bowl and his speed's a little bit slower and rev rate might be a little bit down, but it's not anything massive. And as long as it's leading to better scores, that's what's important. But you can always work to bring that rev rate back up, bring your speed back up, but you've got to get those mechanics back into place first. And so don't worry about the speed, don't worry about the rev rate, worry about hitting the mark and everything coming out consistently and getting that to become your new muscle memory. And once this shortened approach feels normal and doesn't feel like Fred Flintstone anymore, and that's your natural way of being, then you start to incorporate bringing speed back into it, bringing rev rate back into it, whatever else it is you want to work on. But that's the important thing, is pick one thing and focus on that and work on that, and don't worry about how that's affecting other things, because if you try to fix it all, it's not going to work.
And the best part about this is, you know, you watch the guys on TV, right? They all play wherever they need to on the lane. If they need to stand in front of the ball return and take 2 steps and then deliver the ball, they can, because they go out of their comfort zone and they try something new. And now they, you know, doing this is just building something new into my arsenal. So a couple of good reasons to experiment with new things and to challenge yourself. And I'm glad I'm doing this.
So today is essentially just a practice session, give him some more reps on throwing the ball slower, stepping further up on the approach. So we're gonna film, we're gonna watch him, talk about where he was standing, where he is standing now, go through those particular steps, but just kind of watch him go through the progression. Please keep in mind, it is Saturday morning. These lanes were last oiled for their Friday night league, and then there was open bowlers all night, and his lane has been sitting. We've thrown some practice shots, and the outside is torched. So we're probably not going to see the ball hitting the pocket necessarily where we want to. He's probably going to have to stand way left of where he would in a league shot, but so we're not going to worry so much about that. We're worried mostly about where he's standing. Is he getting a consistent release? Is he hitting whatever mark he's aiming at, even if it's not resulting in a strike? So that's what our focus is on today, not so much the score.
That about sums it up right there.
So you ready to roll it?
Let's do this.
Roll the rock.
Welcome back. Wait! Ha!
Oh yeah, the most important thing.
Like, share, subscribe. You know, do all that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we tell you, but like we forgot to this time.
Yes.
So
and comment. We love the comments. When people comment, they've got questions. Love answering the questions. So comment as well. All of that sort of stuff helps the algorithm. So hit the subscribe button, like the video if you like the video, and throw us a comment. What are you struggling with? What questions do you have? We'd be happy to help you answer those.
if you're struggling with your male pattern baldness, we cannot help with that. Just jump on the boat, baby. It's good.
Yeah,
let's
good.
bowl.
All right.
Ready?
All right. So let's tell these people, where were you standing originally?
So for years, I'd come up here and I'd stand palm of my foot, basically. Palm of my foot, is that right? On these back dots. I was taking big old giant steps and I was all over the place. So now, I walk clear up here, and I stand about 1 inch behind that dot. But I'm gonna be over here somewhere.
That looked pretty good.
So the other thing that I did too is while I was back here, I'd hold the ball down here. So to compensate for moving forward and getting less speed, I took that and now I brought it back up here. So that's probably why I didn't lose a lot of speed, is because I raised the ball up a little bit. I will say what's been really the hardest thing for me is my spare shooting. Used to have solid motion from this way for so long, now I'm that much closer and I have to really be mindful and think about a slightly slower speed and what feels like a completely different angle. I'm sure it's not, but it feels so weird shooting spares now.
Hey, what were you saying earlier about your crossover step?
Oh, so while back here, I don't really drift, but I take a really weird second step. So like my second step, it's like in front of my, it's like catwalk.
Yeah, which that's a pretty common thing. A lot of people do that crossover step.
But I think, and I've not recorded this new thing, you guys. I've not recorded me doing this, so I've not seen it myself. But being up here, I feel as if that second step is not nearly as drastic and extreme. You'll see it the same time I do, because I've not recorded myself doing this yet. It's all still very, very, very new. 3 weeks now, I think. 3 weeks ago is when I started this, approximately.
2.5, I think.
Yeah.
There's actually no step there, so that was pretty good.
These lanes are wonderful. It's a great shot out there.
Would you, how comfortable would it be for you to throw your old style? Go all the way to the back dots, throw it like you used to, for a comparison.
Sure.
Okay, so he's gonna jump all the way back to the back dots. See if he can bowl his old way here. See if we can get a little comparison. Woo! Had a lot more speed on that, but that little step out he did, that actually was not uncommon also.
What?
Your little step out, you fell out of that shot, and that step out you did,
Slipped.
that would happen a few times a night.
Yeah.
Slowing it down, that's gonna go away some. All the way back on a spare.
Well, that's a lot of work from way back here.
Now he's back up to the front dots.
There we go.
He's going to hit that spot, that mark, much more consistently.
Yeah. Feels so much smoother. Let us know if you guys have tried something extreme and crazy, and tell us how well it worked or how really, really bad it didn't work for you. That's gonna happen too. It's not always gonna work out. It's not always gonna be great. I was so scared to try this, especially during league. See if I can get this one out there. Mixers all day.
Mixers all day. All right, so one of the things I want to point out here too that I just noticed,
Okay.
now that I'm watching you. So, I don't notice when you took your long
Excuse me.
steps, like I
Yes.
was watching you during 3, 2, 1 and
Yeah.
some of the other things we've done together, when you're starting down here,
Yep.
right? And when you start and you push away, your hand is coming way over here like this.
Okay.
And that's probably also part of your step this way, is you're clearing way for this to come open. So, and your shoulder got really open like that.
Okay.
Like I talked about, that's so many moving parts.
Right.
So now you've got that ball coming up here, and your hand was like here. It wasn't here. Your shoulders weren't like doing this immediately, but down here you were like this right away.
Okay.
So now you're a lot squarer, and your shoulders come open a little bit, but it's
Of
not
course.
super drastic. And I think that's why going slower, everything is also, you're slowing everything else down,
Yeah.
so you're kind of condensing everything,
Sure.
keeping everything consistent. And I think that's a big part of the reason why it's feeling smoother, more consistent. Because when you're doing this is
Yeah.
that issue where sometimes you'd come back and whoop, I just pulled it a bunch, or because your hands having to come around so far from the inside that sometimes your hand wouldn't get back far enough, you'd let go and it's like there's nothing on that ball. It's like end over end. And the next time you come around it and you're cranking the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Now you close everything down so everything's a lot more consistent. So that's my quick observation of what I just noticed on that shot.
All right. So it's better.
Definitely, yes.
If you guys see anything, please comment. Please let me know. I'll take all feedback, good, bad, or the otherwise. You can never stop learning this game. There's always something that someone can point out. Keith and I, we've been doing this together for ever. He's so used to watching my game, I'm so used to watching his game. An outsider could walk in and go, hey, did you see that he's doing this? And we would both go, huh, oh yeah, I guess so. So, you want to help me get dialed in? Please shoot a comment.
This guy bowls better with house balls than anybody I've ever met.
It's so dumb.
I've added some tape to Troy's ball, so this is going to help us be able to measure some rev rate. I'm going to have to go back into the labs and take the video of this and calculate it. And I don't have a calculation of what his old rev rate was, but my main objective is just to find out where he's at, even with a slower approach. Is he at a decent rev rate? I can tell you it looks pretty good, so I think we're fine, but this will at least allow us to capture that, because he's never calculated his rev rate before.
No, I've never calculated that.
We're going to calculate it what it is right now with his new approach.
So that's that. That's the new and improved Troy.
All right, so yeah, so as you can see, rev rate still looks pretty good. His speed's okay, but the biggest thing is a lot more consistency on both your release and being able to hit your mark, because you're slowing everything down and emptying your mind on all the other crap that's going on and just focusing on the one thing. Just keep those feet short, keep everything compact. Consistency.
And keep your head down. So that was another thing too that I think I really struggled with, is standing way back and being so giant stepped and just kind of all over the place. I would always kind of pop up, and I know for a fact that I didn't always look at my mark, just because of my inconsistencies. So that's also changed quite a bit doing this. So and don't be afraid if it feels wrong or it's not great results right away, because sometimes we all have that muscle memory that shouldn't be there, and you have to retrain yourself. So don't be afraid to make changes. Don't do it in league, right? Don't do it in league. Get out and practice. Don't worry about your score either when you're doing this, right? Because it's not about score, it's about retraining yourself to do something.
Practice with a purpose. There's far too many times that, I mean, even with the high school kids, we will teach them something, and something that we really need to focus on, and then I will see them out on their own practicing, and they're just bowling for score. And it's like, practice on the thing we're working on. Like, if I'm telling you to do some spare practice, or telling you, do those things on your own as well. It shouldn't just be when we're coaching you that you do those things. Practice with a purpose. Forget your score. The scorekeeper's on, but he wasn't even switching lanes or anything, so the scorekeeper wasn't really keeping score, so we didn't care what his score was. And in fact, there's a possibility, because you are trying to retrain your body, your scores in general might go down a little bit at first, but as long as you can see and feel that the progression's going to be there, stick with it, and those scores will improve. And you'll build that new muscle memory, and you'll have better scores. That's the overall objective, is long term, are you going to have better scores? Do you remember all the times that we're watching Ameletta Monticelli or Wayne Webb or whoever on TV, and then we come out and we're trying to be them.
Yep,
so we're
just like them.
Yeah, we're lifting and cranking way up, we're holding the ball way down here. Yeah, yes. And that's actually how I built myself in college. Is in college, I was one of the top bowlers on the team, and so the coach spent more time coaching all the other kids and not so much coaching me because he felt like they needed some fundamental changes. And so what I ended up doing is I'm watching all of these outstanding collegiate bowlers that we're bowling against, and I'm seeing, okay, I like how he throws the ball. What is he doing? Where does he hold the ball? Where does his push away? What does his wrist look like? How many steps is he taking? How big are the steps? If I see something that I like, then I go and practice and I try to emulate that, and I work on it over and over and over again. And if I can't do it or I don't see progress, I'll scrap that one and look at the next one. I keep working on those things, and my average jumped significantly while I was in college just because of that type of work and practice that I put into play. So it really can have a lot of benefits if you practice with a purpose and don't worry about practicing for score. Focus on something you want to work on and work on that thing over and over and over and practice, and don't stop until it feels natural. Hit that subscribe button. As always, we appreciate you guys for watching.
Where's the meatloaf?
I know, we're still waiting.
Guys, we appreciate you guys. Thank you all so very much.
Yep.
That's all I got.
All right, out.
How'd you get to be so cool?